President Muhammadu Buhari has taken another step towards actualizing his ambition of seeking re-election in 2019. The president received his party's expression of interest in nomination forms brought for him by a group to encourage him to run for office next year. Officials of the group, National Consolidation Ambassadors Network, led by members of its board of trustees, thronged the presidential villa for the presentation. President Buhari accepted the forms with an affirmation that those who nurse selfish interests have exited the party. Our State House correspondent Ibrahim Adra reports.
President Buhari receiving expression of interest and nomination forms at the presidential villa. The document, which is yet another indication of President Muhammadu Buhari's desire to recontest in 2019, is coming courtesy of a group of professionals under the auspices of the National Consolidation Ambassadors Network, NCAN. A member of its board of trustees who spoke on behalf of the group gave the Buhari administration a AAA rating.
For the first time in many years, can see a leader who painstakingly takes decisions solely on the basis of national interest, above his or anyone else. Have a network that seeks to consolidate these gains and ingrain this focus. And it is because of that that they decided to contribute their intellect and little savings and earnings towards ensuring that our president is encouraged to complete and continue in this service.
Ambassadors.
President Buhari then seizes the moment to enumerate achievements of his stewardship, including the anti-corruption fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, these achievements over the past 3 years have not been easy. Corruption has been fighting back from both within and outside, but we held our ground. Today, I am pleased to say the weakest among us, whose selfish expectations do not align with our selfish vision, have exited our party. We now have a party of strong and patriotic individuals who are ready, willing, and able to continue on this journey of building a strong, secure, self-sufficient, and corruption-free Nigeria.
Members of the group insist they did not break any law by their action and are responsible for every kobo of the 45 million naira paid for the forms.
As of today, President Muhammadu Buhari is not a candidate. And the Electoral Act is very clear. It's talking about candidate. He's not a candidate. He's an aspirant. And so no law is broken.
None of us is holding any political office. We don't work for the government. We work on our own. And we are proud of what we have done.
No date is yet given for return of the completed forms, but the chairman of the APC Presidential Campaign Committee and Minister of Transportation says the president is fit as fiddle and the APC is raring to go.
The president is as fit as a fiddle and we're ready to go ahead with that election.
The group, NCAN, paid the mandatory 45 million naira as required by the All Progressives Congress on September the 5th to collect the forms for President Buhari. From the presidential villa, Abuja, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Comrade Adams, has been responding to those criticizing the purchase of the 45 million naira nomination forms for President Buhari. At a meeting with members of the Rice Farmers Association in Abuja, Comrade Shomele says President Buhari will need Nigerians who believe in policy stability in the country to raise funds for his campaign.
When our own president, who does he have? And none of this most fierce critic has been able to say, no, you are pretending. And if you are, show us where the thing is. When some other young people who have benefited from various schemes decided to raise money to buy the form, suddenly it became an issue that why should people buy nomination form for aspirants? So I know they are going to watch carefully statement made here today. But let me say, the president will need, not only him, anyone who wants to contest election. We need Nigerians who believe and who are committed to policy stability, who are committed to sustain progress, and who believe in a candidate to raise funds not only for the form, because the form is the cheapest element in this process, to raise funds for the mass mobilization that every aspirant and every candidate will have to do. In the case of our president, he will even need more money, because our party decision is that we have to organize what we call direct primaries.
And staying with politics, the People's Democratic Party has announced new dates for the sale of its nomination forms and primaries for State Houses of Assembly, National Assembly and governorship elections in 2019. According to a notice by the party's National Organizing Secretary, Colonel Austin Akubundu, the party has rescheduled its governorship primaries to September the 26th, with appeals slated for September the 28th, while the date for presidential primaries remained October the 5th and 6th. The new timetable also indicated that primaries for the senatorial elections will hold on September the 28th, while its appeals are scheduled for September the 29th. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, has announced plans to seek re-election into the National Assembly. Mr. Dogara announced his decision today while addressing his constituents at his Abuja residence. In a post on his Twitter handle, Mr. Dogara says he was overwhelmed by the show of solidarity for his supporters, noting that because of their sacrifice, he will once again represent them. He said, quote, "Because you came, because of your sacrifice, I want to announce to you that I will run once again and represent our constituency. I will soon come home to meet you to make this formal," end of quote. He also restated his commitment to attracting development to the area and creating opportunities for the people to thrive. The bid to replace the People's Democratic Party in Gombe State has begun in earnest by aspirants on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Among these aspirants is the leader of the APC and immediate past Chief Executive Officer of Sun Trust Bank, Mr. Mohammed Barade, who is hoping to be the next governor of the state. He lists unemployment statistics and inequality as some of the problems his team will address if he gains power in 2019.
47-year-old Mohammed Jubrin Bade, a prominent chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC in Gombe State, and his supporters, as he submits his governorship nomination form at the National Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress. He's ushered into the office of the party's National Organizing Secretary, where he presents his nomination form amid cheers from other chieftains of the APC who accompanied him. Although there are no fewer than 5 governorship aspirants in Gombe State seeking to get the APC ticket, Mr. Mohammed Bade is hopeful that his pedigree and economic blueprint will make him stand out.
Every single person from Gombe understands that our common resources need to be utilized for the benefit of our people. And under our watch, as a team, we will ensure that our resources are being utilized for the benefit of our people. My people, what they want is very simple. Provide them with the basic infrastructure and the basic needs that they really need. They are very hard-working people.
He also criticizes the incumbent government in the state, citing huge unemployment and gender inequality as some of the reasons why a new government should be voted into office in 2019.
Our youth are unemployed. We have 50% unemployment rate in Gombe State. Gender inequality is prevalent everywhere. Our women have no right and have no opportunity as our men and boys. The entire system is a shambles, and absolutely every single indigene of Gombe State is looking forward to the right person that will be able to provide the kind of leadership that is required to take the state to the greater heights. Together as a people, we will be able to face the challenges that are facing our state.
Governorship elections across the country are expected to hold in March next year, just as campaigns are scheduled to commence in December. The urgency of time is no doubt a major reason why political party secretariats have become a beehive of activities.
The Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, is raising an alarm over alleged plans by the federal government to rig the 2019 elections. And he's pointing a finger at the perceived delay by President Buhari to sign the Electoral Act as an indication of the fact. Governor Wike also alleged plans to promote the current Commissioner of Police in River State in order to make way to the commander for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad in the state.
They are promoting my CP to be AIG. They are promoting the DC, who was under the DC oppression, to be at the CP. And the SARS man who took River State government to court, who have perpetrated in rigging election, even by INEC report, they are going to make him the man in charge of operations. Just for the purpose of 2019 election. What are you telling me? I think we made the head of operations of the State Police Command, Stephen Hassel, who is the DC, who made the acting CP, and then the CP will go as an AIG for the purpose of 2019 election, and they think that we don't know.
Away from election matters, international human rights body Amnesty International is asking the federal government to make public the report by the Presidential Investigative Panel that reviewed compliance of the armed forces with human rights obligations and rules of engagement. The Presidential Investigative Panel was set up by the then acting President Yemi Osinbajo in August 2017, following reports accusing the Nigerian military of human rights violations during its operations in parts of Nigeria. In a statement, Amnesty International describes the delay in releasing the report as an affront to the victims who were still waiting for justice a year after the panel started its work. The statement adds, quote, "The government must make good on its promise and show its commitment to transparency and accountability by publishing the report and publicly revealing how they'll ensure justice for the victims," end of quote. The Presidential Investigative Panel submitted its report in February 2018, and Amnesty International says the government must not allow the efforts of Nigerians who boldly came out to testify before the panel to be wasted. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, has decried the incessant killings resulting in the farmers and herdsmen crisis across the country. He says the crisis has been manipulated by mischief makers to give it ethnic and religious coloration. Mr. Monguno made the remarks at a meeting with leaders of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association and the Association of Christian Traditional Rulers of Nigeria in Abuja. He also gave the assurance of the federal government's support to any group or individual with good intentions and plans to end the crisis and restore peace to the troubled regions.
I need to state also that our assessment from the Office of the National Security Advisor is that the situation in this conflict has been largely manipulated by mischief makers to cloak criminality with the garment of ethno-religious sentiments. The conflict has nothing to do with ethnicity or religion. We must do all within our powers to correct this dangerous narrative which attacks the core of our values of strength in diversity. This office is ever ready to support any genuine initiative that will engender national security and prosperity. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "An eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind."